Okay, let's do this. This is the math final for 2023 of May. Let's see how we can do this, all right? I had a lot of kids asking questions about this. Wanted to go over in class, but we kind of run out of time, so I'm going to spend some time after school doing this for you and then share it with you, okay? Anyway, let's start off. Put your name, the date, the period, and first question talks about exponents, and it says write 13 times 13 times 13 times 13 times 13 times 13 as a power. That's going to be 13 to what power? You go count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 13 to the 6th power. And there's no short way of saying that, like to the 2nd power and the 3rd power. You can say squared or cubed. Next one. We have to find the value of this. We're going the opposite direction. 5 to the 5th power is 5 times itself that many times. The base number times itself the exponent number of times. I'm going to group these, make it a little easier, because 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 quarters is 625. So 625 is 5 times 600 and 5 quarters. 5 times 600 is 3,000. 5 quarters is 125. This ends up being 3,125. Tough, huh? Next couple questions, or the next question here is basically an order of operations question. What do you do first in a big problem like this when I have subtracting, multiplying, adding, parentheses, dividing, and exponents? Well, you're always doing the parentheses first. So 17 and 7 is 24, right? So now I have 7 minus 9 times 24 divided by 6 to the 2nd power. The second thing you do after parentheses is exponents. So I'm going to go ahead, instead of writing 6 to the 2nd power, I'm going to write 36. 6 times 6 is 36. Now I have subtracting, multiplying, dividing. I'm going to divide and multiply, and whichever one comes first goes first. Right? Those are equals. 9 quarters is like 8 quarters is $2. 9 quarters is $2.25. So this is going to be $2.25 minus 9. And 225 minus 9 ends up being 216. And I'm going to divide that by 36. And I know that 6 to the 3rd power is 216. So it kind of helps me know that 36 goes into it how many times? Well, it's going to be 6 times, right? And we can double check that. 36 times 6, 6 times 6 is 36. Carry the 3, and 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. Boom. So this ends up being 6, and out in front of that I have a 7 minus 6 is 1. All of that to equal 1. Okay? GCF. What does GCF stand for? Greatest, that's going to be the biggest. Common, that's going to be the same for both. Factor, remember factors fit. So I'm looking for the biggest number that fits into both of these. And I know 8 times 11 is 88. I know 7 times 8 is 56. And that ends up being the biggest number that fits into both. I just double it to make sure, 16, right? And like I say, the only factors I know of 88 are 2 times 2 times 2, right? So there's 4 and an 8 and 11, right? So and I know this is 8 times 7, so all done there. LCM, that's the least common again, multiple. So multiples are many. Talking about 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, 12 times 4 is going to equal 9 times something. And if I do it in order, does 9 go into 12? No. Does 9 go into 24? No. Does 9 go into 27? No. Does 9 go into 27? 36? Yes. 9 goes into 36. And that's the smallest multiple of 12 that 9 fits into, so that's the least common multiple. Sorry for the messy writing over there and doing 9 instead of 12. All right, the mug is 1/5 full. That's the mug, it's 1/5 full, right? The mug contains 3/8 of a cup of water. Find the capacity. So 1/5 of the mug equals 3/8, how big is the mug, right? 1/5 of the mug equals 3/8 of a cup. How big is the mug? I'm going to divide both sides by 1/5 to get rid of that, or fraction buster, multiply it by 5/1. All right, they go away there. The mug is 5 times 3 is 15, 8 times 1 is 8. So it is 1 7/8 cups. 1 7/8 cups. It said to write your answer as a fraction or mixed number in simplest form. 1 I'm going to put a C for cup. All right, here I'm finding 1 3/4 divided by 1 1/6. First, I'm going to use the C method to rewrite those mixed numbers as fractions. Remember, you multiply the bottom number times the whole number, add the top. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Fourth, same denominator. And 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 6, 7/4 divided by 7/6. And now I'm going to smell my feet. What does that mean? SMF, spell my feet. I'm going to keep the first number the same. I'm going to multiply instead of divide. Why? Because multiply fractions is easy. Right? Thank you, Jackson. And then I'm going to flip the second number. Instead of 7/6, I'm going to make that 6/7. Now, I can multiply 7 times 6 and 4 times 7 and get my 42 over 28, and then simplify. But I can simplify before I start. It's called cross-canceling. 7 goes into the top once, goes into the bottom once. 2 goes into 4 twice. It goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 1 on top, 2 times 1 on the bottom. 3 halves, or 1 1/2. Boom. All right. Evaluate. That means figure out what does that equal to. Talking decimals, I like to stack them and then line up the decimal. Okay. They made it easy on you on this one anyway. First, I'm adding, since I'm going from left to right, and addition and subtraction are equals as far as order of operations. 1 and 8 is 9. 9 and 8. 9 and 8, yes. 17. 1 and 8 is 9, plus 5 more is 14. The decimal comes straight over, and that's 11. So 3, 1, and 471 thousandths. Now I got to subtract that. 16.965, or 965 thousandths. For 1, I got to borrow here. 14, 5 decimal comes straight down. 30 minus 16, 14. So that becomes 14 and 514 thousandths. Oh man, multiplying on this one. So on this one, since I want a little space on that, I kind of been squeezing some of these in. I got some graph paper, and it's good to, when you're doing a test and you're going to have some scratch paper, have some sections, right? I just folded this a couple of times and then number them so you can go back and find it. So I'm writing this number 9, circle it. Always circle your problem numbers now so you don't get them confused as part of the problem. 9, here we go. 9 is, find 6, I'm just multiplying, right? 8, 8, 2, and 6, 8, 1. I'm going to pretend they're whole numbers and multiply. So 8, 8, 2, placeholder. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 8 times 8, 64, plus 1, 65. I'm going to carry the 6. 64 and 6 is 70. 2 placeholders. This 6 is really 600. Cross these out so I don't get confused. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 6 times 8, 48, plus 1, 49. Carry the 4. And 48 plus 4 is 52. 2, 14, 1, 14, 16, 1, 10, 1, 5, 2. Wait, it's 8, 10. Carry the 1, 6. So I got all these numbers, but now I need to figure out where the decimal goes. Remember, that was really 6.81. I would have to move it over 2 spots to make it a whole number. And this was really 8.82. I would have to move that over 2 spots. So total, I moved decimals over 4 spots in my problem. I go back 4 spots in my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 60.642. And another way of double checking I put the decimal in the right spot is just estimating. I'm going to say this is about 7 times about 9. 7 times 9 is 63. If I had this and my estimate 63, it only makes sense to put the decimal there. Right? That would be 600, and this would be 6. My estimate 63, put it there. Okay, boom. Box that answer. All right, 10, you make 12 equal payments. You pay a total of $2,148. How much is each payment? Well, you're just dividing there. 12 into 2148. It goes into 21 once. 1 times 12 is 12. Subtract, I get a 9. It's going to go into this. Actually, only 7 times. 7 tens and 7 twos is 84. 70 plus 14. And how many times? 12 going 108. That is a perfect 9 times. 9 tens is 90. 9 twos is 18. 90 and 18. 108. So my answer for number 10 is 179. And we're going to put a dollar sign because we're talking money there. All right, find 2705 divided by 250. Easy enough. 2705 divided by 250. And foolish me, I should have just written it like the problem wanted me to. This is easier than you think because 250 goes into 270 once. It goes into 205 0 times. So I just have to add a decimal, bring it up, and add a 0, bring it down. And how many times is it going to go into 2050? See, that's 8 times. 8 times 25 is 2. So I'm still not done. Running out of room in this box, add another 0, and 500 easy, right? So 10.82 on that one. Should box your answers whenever you can. All right, I'm dividing a decimal. This is the one where you got to watch out for the math police. 0.442 divided by 0.34. The 0.34 goes outside the box. And whenever you have a decimal outside the box, you got to get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? You move it to the right till it's on the far right. I had to move it 2 spots. If you move it 2 spots outside the box, you have to move it 2 spots inside. Boom. Now, if you're smart, don't divide with 4 scoops and all those decimals. Rewrite it. What do I have now? I have 34. I don't need a decimal because it's on the far right. Into 44.2. Now you just divide. Decimal comes up. 1, 34, subtract. I get 10, bring that down. And guess what? 3 times 34 is 102. I know that because 3 times 33 is 99. Boom. So 1.3 on that one. 13. Ratios. How hard are ratios? Everybody gets confused with ratios at first because you don't practice them enough. But when you practice them, they're easy. They're going to ask you the question, and they want butterflies to birds. How many butterflies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 butterflies. How many birds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The ratio is 9 to 7. Just like the question had butterflies to birds, there were 9 to 7. Boom. You can write them like that. You can also write it like this, and the third way is the first number over the second number. All 3 of those ratios 9 to 7. Okay? All right, tape shows here the diagram, a ratio of your friend's allowance and your allowance. And the total of both allowances is 156. They broke it out into sections, equal sections. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 more plus 1 is 7. So that's 13. You're basically saying 13 into 156. 13 goes into 15 one time. And 13 goes into 26 twice. So each of these is a 12. And that's what they're saying, right? Each of these is a 12. Monthly allowances. Oh, now they're saying how much is each. Each of those is a 12. So you get 7 12s and your friend gets 6 12s. 7 times 12 is 84 for you. Let's put it next to the U. And 6 times 12 is 72. Is how much your friend gets per month. Well, I wish I would have got that much. All right, 15. Recipe calls for 7 parts of milk for every 5 parts of sugar. 7 to 5. Complete the ratio table. So we got 7, we got 14. 5, I double that. I'm going to double this. Okay, 5, 10, 15. What comes next? 20, 7, 14, 21, 28, right? It's just almost like multiplication facts. We have 7 to 5 is the same as 14 to 10. It's the same as 21 to 15. Those are ratios, right? You can have them as fractions there. Soup A has 8 grams of sodium in 10 cups. Soup B has 7 grams in 14 cups. I wish they would have done this a little bit differently because they kind of made it, even if you do the wrong thing and say, well, hey, this is 8 grams and this is 7 grams, 8's more than 7, right? That's not what you're supposed to do always. So I wish they wouldn't have had this 14. I wish they would have had this second one if they did that. A smaller number, so this would have won. But you're basically comparing the ratios of sodium per cup, 8 to 10 for the first one, that's A, compared to 7 to 14 for B. Well, which is more? Well, can I simplify them? Yeah, this is the same as 4 to 5, and this is the same as 1/2. 1 to 2. 4/5 is more than a half. So I'm not going to get the same denominator. I could say this is the same as 1/2 is the same as 5/10. Now I have the same denominator. You could tell 8 is greater than 5. Boom. But like I say, I don't like that question. You can do it wrong and get it right. That's not a good test question. All right, represent the ratio using a graph. Here you do. I'm not going to do the whole thing here. I'm going to save some time. But you usually have change over time. I'll put the time on the bottom. And I'm going to put the miles. You can say distance. So I can put the minutes here. Okay. And the graph, let me see, the minutes go 10, 20, 30, 40. You'd like to label those. And the time goes distance goes 5, 10, 15, 20. And this is what they call, right, for 30 I had 15, 40 I had 20. You connect those dots. Whoops. It's called a linear relationship. Linear has the word line in it, makes a line. Boom. All right, this is part 1 of the test. I'm going to stop this and post it and hopefully do the others.